I am Amina al-Sayed, a Muslim woman who left her homeland, Egypt, to build a new life in the United States. My migration was motivated by the desire to offer better educational opportunities to my children and to live in a society more tolerant of my faith. However, that day, everything changed. My family, my friends, and my faith seemed to be tested in ways I could never have imagined. To help you better understand, I must take you back to that crucial moment, the year I turned 55. After years of tireless work, I had finally opened my small Islamic craft business, creating carpets and decorations for the local Muslim community. My life finally seemed in balance, until a devastating diagnosis struck me: advanced stage liver cancer. The news was a devastating blow. I felt lost, abandoned, and overwhelmed by pain. In that moment of despair, I turned to Allah with even more fervor, seeking comfort in prayers and my faith. I remembered the words of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Indeed, with every difficulty there is relief. I decided to face this trial with patience and trust, believing that everything had a deeper meaning. During the days following the diagnosis, my life became a whirlwind of emotions. The Muslim community mobilized to help me, offering emotional and practical support. However, despite the help, I still felt trapped in an abyss of sadness and doubt. Every prayer became a silent cry, an attempt to find answers to what had happened. One day, after a long chemotherapy session, I felt a tightness in my chest. At first, I thought it was just a cramp, but it quickly worsened. Breathing became almost impossible. When I looked around, I saw nurses and doctors rushing around my body, performing CPR. I found myself watching my body from above, a surreal experience. I wondered, is this death? Or am I about to meet Allah? This was just the beginning. When I reopened my eyes, I didn't understand where I was. Initially, I saw the ceiling of a hospital room, but it felt like I was observing from above. Then, I noticed a woman lying motionless on the bed below. The nurses were trying to save her. A bright light enveloped me, and I found myself in a dreamlike dimension. Around me, the familiar voices of my mother's lullabies and my father's prayers filled the air. It was as if all my memories and faith had converged at that moment of light. This is their way of showing me my faith, I thought. I heard verses of the Quran being recited, but I couldn't identify who was reciting them. This is peace. This is the presence of Allah, I murmured, tears of joy streaming down my face. But suddenly, the atmosphere changed drastically. The leaves of the trees around me began to wither, the branches darkened, and the fresh flowers dried and fell to the ground, rotting instantly. A suffocating darkness surrounded me, different from the darkness you see when you close your eyes. I heard moans of pain and screams of suffering people. Among them, my mother's voice rose above the others. "Have mercy! Have mercy!" In that darkness, I perceived a deep and resonant voice, as if it were beside my ear. "Amina, everything will be revealed now." I knew this was hell, the place Allah had warned us about. I wondered why, a devoted woman who had served Allah diligently, I was there. The unanswered questions tormented me, and the anguish grew inside me. Before me, a throne rose high on a platform. On it, a man was chained and handcuffed. I immediately recognized Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. My heart broke seeing him in that condition. "This cannot be," I thought. "How is this possible?" The Prophet lowered his gaze, tears streaming down his face, reflecting suffering and helplessness. A voice echoed around the throne. The time has come to know, Amina. Everything will be revealed. My mind was in turmoil, trying to comprehend that moment of trial. In that silence, a book appeared before me. The Quran. The pages opened by themselves, turned by invisible forces. I heard a powerful voice. Who is Allah, Amina? Have you ever questioned this? Doubt crept into my mind. Who is Allah? I realized I had never reflected enough on this fundamental question. The pages of the Quran turned rapidly, showing images of the Kaaba before Islam, surrounded by idols. The voice continued. This was the Kaaba of the era of ignorance. Where did Allah place himself, Amina? A flash of realization struck my mind. Allah is not an idol. He is the creator of everything. I felt a strong wind, a deep breath that brought me back to reality. I reopened my eyes in the hospital room, breathing heavily. A blonde nurse looked at me worriedly. You are very lucky. Allah has brought you back. The words echoed in my mind. Which Allah? The persistent doubt accompanied me, but my faith remained strong. My family visited me, but their words seemed empty. My wife held my hand. My grandchildren sat beside me, but I felt only an inner void. I didn't want to listen to anything. I wanted to close my eyes and return to the peace of my faith. One day, an imam arrived. He wore a simple white tunic and carried a copy of the Quran. He sat beside me in silence, offering his presence as a sign of support. Hello, Amina, he said gently. I want to help you find answers. Looking into his eyes, I felt a glimmer of hope. I saw something scary, something that challenges my faith, I confided. The imam listened attentively, then opened the Quran and recited a verse. And whoever believes in Allah, he will guide his heart. Allah is sufficient as a helper. Surah Al-Imran 3:160. The soothing words touched me deeply, reminding me of the power of my faith. Faith is not just believing, but also understanding and reflecting, the imam explained. It's natural to have doubts, but it is through knowledge and prayer that we can strengthen our faith. Over time, I began to study the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, more thoroughly. I participated in study groups and interfaith dialogues, seeking to better understand the nature of Allah and my relationship with him. Every prayer became a moment of reflection, a sincere dialogue with the Creator. One night, while praying and seeking answers, I had another vision. This time, there was no throne, but a radiant light emanating love and mercy. From that light emerged a figure, an angel sent by Allah. Do not fear, Amina, the angel said in a sweet voice. Your faith is your strength. Continue to seek the truth, and Allah will guide you. I woke up feeling a deep peace, a confirmation of my faith. However, my search for truth did not end there. During a spiritual journey to Mecca for Hajj, I met a man named Mateo, a Christian missionary who had extensively studied Islam and Christianity. Mateo was a man of great wisdom and compassion, and our conversations began to explore the differences and similarities between our faiths. Mateo spoke to me about his personal experience of faith and his belief that Jesus was the promised Savior. His words resonated within me, stirring a curiosity I had never explored before. I began to read the Bible, fascinated by the stories of hope and redemption I found in the Gospels. One day, while meditating on the words of Jesus, I felt an inner calling. It was as if a part of me had finally found what it was seeking. I decided to further deepen my knowledge of Christianity, participating in Bible studies and interfaith dialogues. My spiritual transformation reached its peak when, on a quiet evening, I had a different vision. This time, I found myself in a serene garden, surrounded by flowers and light. Before me, a luminous figure emanated a sense of unconditional love. "Amina," the figure said in a gentle voice, "open your heart and accept the truth that has been revealed to you." I felt a profound peace and mental clarity that I had never experienced before. I understood that my soul had found its true home in the message of love and salvation of Jesus Christ. I decided to convert to Christianity, carrying with me my experience and renewed faith. My path to conversion was not without challenges. My family and the Muslim community reacted with shock and disapproval. I found myself isolated and faced criticism and misunderstandings. However, my new faith gave me the strength to persevere. I began attending the local church, finding comfort and support in my new Christian community. As time passed, my health began to improve miraculously. The doctors were astonished by my recovery, but I knew it was the mercy of God that had saved me. Every day, I thanked Jesus for his goodness and for guiding me to the truth. My family, initially confused and angry, began to understand the depth of my experience. My wife and children supported me, and together we strengthened our bonds through prayer and devotion. The Christian community welcomed me back with love and understanding, recognizing my resilience and commitment to faith. Now I look back on that period with gratitude. The trial I faced made me stronger and more devoted. I learned that faith is not just a series of rituals, but a deep and personal connection with God. Every prayer, every reflection brings me closer to Him, and every challenge is an opportunity to grow spiritually. This experience taught me that, even in moments of doubt and fear, faith in God can guide us through the darkness into the light. I am grateful for my faith, my family, and the community that supported me. My story is a testament to the power of faith and God's mercy, which sustains us in the most difficult times and guides us to the truth. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Indeed, we belong to Allah, and indeed to Him we will return. These words remain etched in my heart, a constant reminder of my faith and hope. Every day is a new opportunity to draw closer to Him, to serve with devotion, and to live a life of gratitude and love.